your energy forecast for Monday, February 12th. So we do have the moon in Pisces going void of course at 7:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're locking into Aries energy at 8:27 a.m. again, Eastern Standard Time. So let's talk about this particular transition for a second. Of course, the Pisces energy is the very end of the zodiac wheel. It is where we kind of move inward, where we recognize what needs to end, what we have to close the door on, what we have to release, what we have to surrender to. It's a time of imagination. It's a time of visualization, renewing our soul and our spirit. By the time we shift into Aries energy, we are ready to rip the rear view mirror off of the car. We do not want to look back. We have no interest in the past. The Aries energy is a forward movement. It's an aggressive energy. We are essentially jumping into a new emotion, a new way of looking at things, a new way of handling things, a new way of pursuing our passion, our goals. The Aries energy is like a fresh, clean slate, so to speak. And because it is a cardinal fire sign, we are looking to initiate. We are looking to make change. We are looking to make adjustments, especially in accordance with our heart space. So this is going to be a welcome change, especially seeing as we have been a little bit, I'm going to say, in the funky land of low motivation, low inspiration. This is, again, just a reminder that we are nearing the ending point of the zodiac calendar, which means that this is more of inner work than it is external change, external adjustments. Not to say that we don't have options and opportunities to impact our environment. However, the major change that is taking place is always within us. We are cultivating a new spark, new fire, new flame in order for us to be inspired and motivated to make the changes that we need to make. Whether you're using excitement, inspiration, passion as a fuel source, or anger and frustration, you have the fire energy, lighting a fire not only in your heart space, but under your ass to get your shit together, to get in gear, to absolutely identify what it is that you're moving away from. Again, ripping that rearview mirror off, and what it is now that you're inspired to pursue. So that is going to be a welcome shift for many of us, although we are going to have to really pace ourselves, really watch our energy levels. We do have a tendency to kind of jump into things, burn ourselves out halfway. In this Aries energy, we do have a little bit of energy management skills that we need to put to the test, because the restlessness, the anxiousness, I'm going to say impulse for us to just go out in the world and do some things that we're not necessarily being encouraged to do, that is a hard energy to kind of cap off. We need to have patience. Again, we're in the time in the calendar. We're not really being supported with a whole lot of energy and action in our external realms. A lot of this is inner realm work. This is also the very last day that Mars, who happens to rule over the Aries energy, mind you, will be in Capricorn energy. We will see Mars shift into Aquarius energy here on Tuesday, February 13th. There is an astro forecast for that. Bust out your Aquarius season e-guide for this particular event. We really want to capture the change in our mood and our attitude. We are definitely going to feel a lighter vibration take over once we move into Aquarius energy. But as everything else, it does come with a set of cons as well. So dive into that. Make sure you are well equipped, well prepared for this particular energy shift coming at us here in a couple of days. So with that being said, there are 10 different aspects taking place here today, 9 of them going to involve the moon. While the moon is still very much in Pisces energy, we are going to see Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves, in this Aquarius energy, semi-squaring, creating tension, creating conflict with Neptune, who happens to be in his place of power in Pisces energy. Neptune is our intuition, our spirituality, our dreams, our imagination. It's the shadow realm of our experiences. Well, Mercury and Neptune coming together in this way creates a little bit of discomfort in our headspace. There is some cloudy thinking, things aren't very clear, we're lacking those particular, let's call it details, in order to paint that pretty picture that we're waiting for. We tend to kind of check out of reality. We want to live in a daydream rather than actually take part in some of the things going on in our physical realms. We have a tendency to miss very important details with this particular interaction, so pay attention to that. We have I'm going to say, an issue trying to express ourselves with confidence, with clarity. It's really hard for people to understand what it is that we're trying to say. Yes, it's hard for us to get out what it is that we're actually trying to say. It's even harder for people to receive what it is that we're trying to say in the way in which we want to have it received. This particular energy is going to mess with our heads a little bit. We're kind of struggling with our perceptions outside of us. We're having a hard time painting what is real, what is not, what is true, what is false. We're having a hard time with reality, and therefore we are much more comfortable to move inward, live in La La Land, live in Delulu Land, and really have a lot more hopeful and wishful thinking than actual practical reality type of thinking. This is not a great time for talking, for having heart-to-hearts, for getting into agreements. This is not a time to sign yourself to any kind of contracts, if you will. We are just not in a space where details, especially locking us into something, are going to be realized. It is very much like we're just skimming over information here, plucking out whatever it is that's positive that we can kind of formulate an imaginary path and plan around. And we are setting ourselves up for disappointment, potentially, because we're going to get a harsh reality check here in the next coming of days. And this is definitely going to wipe away a lot of the whimsical thoughts, the whimsical ideas, the whimsical visions, goals, and dreams that we may be conjuring up under this particular influence. So the moon is then going to come up to bump into Neptune, who again is in his place of power in Pisces energy. And one of two things are going to happen, maybe a column A, column B situation. First of all, anytime that we have planets conjunct, it is a reset. It's an ending just as much as a beginning. Now, the ending that could potentially be taking place here is an ending of old visions, of old dreams, of old pain, of old trauma. That would be lovely. We need to close the door on some of those heavier topics and themes, some of those, I'm going to say, ideas, visions, and goals that we're no longer kind of connected with. In turn, the beautiful thing that can come out of this is new ideas, new inspirations, a revitalization, renewal of our soul, of our spirit, a renewal of hope, faith, and wishes, and downloading some visuals, gaining some insight. It's a very, very beautiful thing. We are going to feel super hypersensitive though, so you got to watch that because again, anything can trigger and activate us when we're in this hypersensitive state. However, being hypersensitive means that we can also pick up on the subtle energies of the world around us, which means that we're making a lot more sense of some of the situations than we previously have, because we're able to kind of read between the lines and pick up on some of the energies that aren't actually in form. So then the moon and Mercury are going to semi-square. Okay, so this means that our heart and our head not on the same page at all. Likely because Mercury, being in this Aquarius energy, is thinking about the future, thinking about how we could do things better, where it is that we can improve, what it is that we want to end up doing, how we need to start, formulating a path, a plan, a strategy on how we're going to get there. Meanwhile, the moon in this Pisces energy, we don't want nothing to do with thinking about the future right now. We don't even want to think about the present moment. We want to live in Delulu land. We want to curl up in a ball and just pretend that life isn't even happening. And so, of course, emotionally speaking, we are trying to numb ourselves from some of the thoughts, ideas, emotions being triggered and activated from our reality. And Mercury, who just wants to think everything through and have all the information, all the details in order to put a path, a plan, a strategy together, is struggling to get the heart online. The last thing that we have going on with the moon in Pisces before going void of course is a sextile, beautiful interaction with Mars, nearing the final degrees of this Capricorn energy. We love Pisces and Capricorn energy working together. We love a sextile because it's a harmonization of these particular energies, which means that in some way we are being inspired. We are really grasping a vision, a goal, a dream. We are feeling excited about it. We are tapping into a new level of passion about it. Again, the line between passion and anger is very, very thin. So be very aware of the fuel that you're using to kind of do what you got to do to close the door on the past and open up the door to future possibilities. Emotionally speaking, we're getting all revved up in all the right ways. We are definitely kind of fine-tuning our vision, our goal, our dream, and we're building ourselves up in order to, again, tap into whatever fuel source we're kind of using right now in order to stay the course and actually see some of these aspects manifest. So this is 7:32 a.m., 7:33 a.m. The moon goes void of course. We're locking into that Aries energy at 8:27 a.m. And about an hour later, we have our very first aspect popping off with the moon in Aries, which just happens to be a beautiful interaction, a sextile with Pluto, the great transformer himself in this Aquarius energy. So first of all, we love this shift in our mood, in our attitude, in our inner realm. Aries energy, a fire sign, Aquarius energy, an air sign. What do you get? Well, you get a beautiful fire and flame. That's if you can keep the energy balanced and controlled. Too much thought, too much intellectualizing, too much information, too much air, essentially, you're going to see that fire get out of control. What is that fire? It's passion, it's excitement, it's an eagerness to kind of move forward. If there is too much excitement, too much passion, too much restlessness, and not enough thought, not enough direction, then of course that fire is going to burn itself out. But if we can balance these energies, this is a major boss up energy. This is a major indicator of where it is that we're kind of putting some of the struggles behind us and really focusing on busting away from some of these particular, let's call them obstacles and challenges, in order to really blaze a new path forward. We are going to sit in this particular energy for a couple of hours. Very later on in the afternoon, we're going to see the moon in this Aries energy, semi-square, creating tension and conflict with Uranus, the great awakener, in Taurus energy. So this is where we're going to start feeling the restlessness, the agitation, the frustration, maybe even the anger a little bit, because we have to consider the fact that Uranus in this Taurus energy is our physical realm, where it is that we need to see our physical realm, some of the relationship dynamics, the constructs within it from a different set of eyes. Again, Uranus trying to give us the greater observation. However, because this is a negative interaction, we are more likely going to be stuck on the confusion on what we're supposed to do, where actions actually need to be made, how we can make some of these adjustments. And so the moon in Aries, again, just rearing to go, has no actual external outlet for all of this pent up energy and aggression, for this excitement, inspiration, or anger, whichever way it actually manifests. We don't know what to do with it in our physical realm. And that is making things a little bit more frustrating, a little bit more confusing. Shortly thereafter, we are going to have the moon in Aries make a positive interaction with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, in this Capricorn energy. So we love this because, first of all, Venus in this Capricorn energy, we're taking a very down-to-earth, logical, practical approach to our feelings, to our worth, to our values, to our relationship dynamics, to our money matters. We're thinking very long-term with it. We've realized that if we continue to stay this present moment course, that we're not going to be happy, kind of understanding that what we do now is setting us up for what we will be doing then in the future. We've recognized where it is that we don't want to take some particular aspects that we're currently experiencing into our future vision, into our future dream. So the moon in Aries is raring to go. We are aggressive. We are aggressive in our emotions to identify what needs to stay, what needs to go, who needs to stay, who needs to go, what we actually have to change, what we can adjust, what we can take action upon, whether within ourselves or in our physical realm, to just see a different outcome, a different result. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over roles, responsibilities, structures, foundations, willpower, discipline. In this Pisces energy, we're really getting real and raw and vulnerable with the false set of beliefs that we were kind of living our lives around, mostly due to the ego having more control over us than the higher self did. This particular interaction is going to be good for us because we're ready to boss up with this Aries energy. We're ready to take on whatever challenge we may be posed with. We're ready to see what it is that we have to start building towards. We're ready, again, to rip that rear view mirror off, stop sitting in the feels, stop thinking about what we could have done differently, where it is that we messed up, what it is that we could do if we had to redo. Doesn't matter. We have a fresh, clean slate that we are looking to build upon, and the moon in Aries definitely has us oriented to getting down to the nitty-gritty on what it is that we can actually have control of in the here and now. The moon goes ahead shortly thereafter and interacts with Jupiter in pretty much the same way. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings. He's in this Taurus energy, taking a very low, slow approach to making the changes in our physical realm that we have been making since May of 2023. This particular energy is putting us in a situation where we're ready, amped up to start brainstorming. This is an opportunity for us to figure out what we want to build, what we want to create, where we have options, where there's opportunities to bust out of this particular holding pattern and initiate something new because of it. We are feeling on top of the world with this energy. There is a positive attitude adjustment happening. We have a force of fire energy from the moon in Aries firing us up in all of the right ways. And of course, Jupiter tends to magnify, turn the volume all the way up on whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And right now, we believe that anything is possible if we could just figure out the path, the plan, the strategy to actually take the actions, to make the moves, to actually start building towards something new. So again, this is like an inner hype that we need to be building in, we need to be cultivating, and we need to sustain for the long term of our vision, our goals, our dreams actually manifesting and coming true. The last thing that we have going on here today is a new awareness, and it's going to come out of a tension point. We have the moon in this Aries energy, semi-squaring, creating tension and conflict with the sun in Aquarius energy. So first of all, fire and air. It has a beautiful, beautiful tendency to get a little bit out of control. We have to consider the fact that the sun is shining a bright light in Aquarius energy. That's a visionary energy, futuristic energy. We are taking a good look at our vision, our goal, our dreams, what we could do better from here on out, what we could do differently from here on out. Problem is that, again, we don't really have an action to take. We don't have a move to make in our exterior realm. And that frustrates the F out of us because Aries energy wants to put that energy into movement, into action, into a situation and a circumstance where we're going to see the outcome very quickly of our energy, of our effort. But of course, this isn't about the external realm. This is about the internal realm. And anytime that the moon and the sun come together, there's a new aha moment. There's a new epiphany, there's a new awareness that we start having about where it is that we want to pour our time, our energy into. So although this is a tension point, although this is going to kind of highlight where we're frustrated, where we're agitated, it is going to reveal where it is that we are eager beavers, ready to jump in, ready to make moves whenever we get the green light, go ahead to do so.